So I want to show you guys a video. How many of you guys remember when Zidane, who knows who Zidane is? Anybody knows
The
who
soccer
Zidane?
player?
So who is Zidane? Who
The
is Zidane?
headbutt guy.
What do you know about Zidane? Who knows? Okay, so what's the famous moment with Zidane? What's the famous moment
When
with
he
Zidane?
headbutt the guy's
He
chest.
headbutted a guy that apparently he said something about his family.
Do you guys know that? Anybody knows? In the World Cup,
Yeah.
after they beat Brazil, he headbutts a guy in the
His
championship final, and it ends up costing them the, what do you call it, World Cup to France. Does anybody know why this guy headbutt the other guy? Do you know it? So don't say it. You know the story. Does anybody else know the story why he did? Okay, I want you to watch this video, Rob. I send it to you. And you're going to see what I'm going to bring up with this and the debate tonight. Rob, I just texted you the video. If you do have it, if it's ready, watch this. And it is emotional at the end, but there's a lesson in it as well. And I never knew this until about a week ago. Go ahead and play this clip.
Stop him. So they used the most ridiculous
Go back a
ploy
little bit,
in
Rob.
football
Go back
history.
a little bit.
They couldn't stop him, so they used the most ridiculous ploy in football history. How could they stop a man who had destroyed a top Brazilian team before the final? The entire Brazilian team declared, "We didn't play against France, we played against Zidane." How could they stop a man who had scored a penalty against the best Buffon with a Panenka in the World Cup final? Their coach asked Materazzi to mark him throughout the match, but he couldn't stop him. He knew there was only one way to stop him. In the 110th minute, Materazzi grabbed Zidane's jersey with his hand. Zidane said to him, "Do you want my jersey?" He was just joking with him, but Materazzi insulted his sick sister, who was in the hospital at that moment. Zidane couldn't control himself. He headbutted him and was sent off with a red card. Sure, Italy won the match, but with Zidane, they couldn't have won that World Cup. But he chose to be a legend who defended his family's honor.
So what do you think about that? Did you know that story?
I thought it was something about religion, but by the way, who's shaking the?
You knew that?
Shaking the back.
You knew that story. So his sister's in a hospital, and he says, "You want my shirt?" Apparently, the guy says, "No, I want your sister."
Oh my God.
Okay. So how many of you guys are men here who has a sister? Who's got a sister? Who's watching this and you got a sister? What do you do if somebody like this says something about your sister?
I'm punching
How
him.
many of you guys just right now, your temperature?
I'm turning red.
You
I'm
got
gonna punch him in his face.
Your temperature goes up. You're like, oh, where is this guy? I want to find him right now, let alone if he's in a hospital. So my guess is when they asked Biden, coin toss, you want to be on the left side or the right side? He went right side. And then when they said, Trump, you get to pick and choose who goes first, who goes last, Trump picks what? Last. Now, do you really think Biden cares whether he's standing on the right side or the left side?
He's just happy to be standing.
Do you really think anybody cares if he's on the left side or the right side?
Us, no. The public, no.
Who cares which side you're like? Do you have an edge? Like, sometimes like some women, they're like, no, it's my better side. It's my this side. When you're a guy, you're screwed up. So you're like, whatever side you want, I'll take a picture with you, right? But this is not like Biden's like, I'm 81 years old, my better side is the right side. I'm convinced they did that so Trump would pick. They know what Trump's going to pick, not going first.
Of course.
Trump's a counterpuncher, so they're going to pick. Trump's going to go last to do what? To do exactly what they did to Zidane, to get under skin. So then the question becomes the following. I just ran a poll a minute ago, and this is the question I asked. And I'm curious to know what you guys are going to be saying. The poll I ran, if you can pull up the poll, Rob, so everybody in the audience can see this. I ran a poll saying, how many times do you think President Biden is going to use the phrase convicted felon tonight? Not once, 3 times, 4 to 6 times, above 6 times. What do you guys think? Who here says 0 to 3 times? Like somewhere around 1 or 3 times. Who says 4 to 6 times here? Okay. Who says 6+ times tonight? Okay. So Rob, just click on one of those to see. 76% agree with you on how many times he's going to use it. I think the only strategy that they have tonight, if they want to beat Trump, is to try to find a way to get under his skin. If they do, and Trump gets caught up in the emotion and reacts the way that he does, then there's going to be ways of, see what happened? Because historically, how many guys here watch debates of previous years? Who actually watches debates of previous years? Okay, my son is sitting there, right? And my son and I, we like to watch older debates. And we'll kind of sit there and we'll go through it. In every debate, there is a fumble. Brandon and I don't know where Brandon's at. Brandon and I were just talking about this right now, about the fumble. Can anybody tell us what was the fumble with Kennedy and Nixon debate?
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
There was the first presidential debate that was televised.
That's right.
The revolution will be televised. And if you were watching on TV, you thought that JFK won because he was good looking and Nixon was sweating a little bit.
Right.
He had a little stubble 5 o'clock shadow. But if you were listening on radio, like half of America was, they actually thought that Nixon won the debate.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing right there.
So in other words, you would look very good today if you were
So
debating. But you got a 5 o'clock
I'm a little
shadow
bit of
and
a,
you're
I'm a
okay
little
with
bit of a
it.
Nixon,
I
but
think you could
I'm a
get away with
JFK
it.
Democrat.
So what was
Marilyn Monroe, if you
what
wanna
was
hang
the
out.
what was the moment with Bush Sr. and Dukakis?
Oh, Bush Sr. and Dukakis.
There was a couple of them.
Oh, that was the commercial Dukakis?
Yeah.
When he
No,
looked-
not the. He did in the debate. They asked him a question about death penalty and his wife. You remember that moment?
What did he ask?
This is so President Dukakis. If there's a death penalty and your wife is kind of caught up and she is guilty and she's going to get the death penalty, he gave the logical, cold answer.
Kill her?
And women are like, wait a minute, if this guy was my husband, he would kill me.
Lord.
He said he's going to kill his wife?
He would be.
Yeah, because you have to be politically
In other
correct.
words,
I got to kill
right?
my wife. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I got to do
So
what's right.
then we had Bush against Clinton. Senior against Clinton. Does anybody know what the fumble was there? Bush Senior versus Clinton. What was the fumble? Do you remember?
Yeah, that he allowed Ross Perot on stage?
No. The fumble was when he did this.
He checked his
When the
watch.
lady, the African-American lady asked a question about national debt,
Yeah.
and he says, you don't think I feel the debt? Rob, is this the one? No, this isn't the one. That's Dukakis.
That's a death penalty.
Oh,
clip.
can you play this?
wanna
By
hear
the way,
it.
it's 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Can you find where it's at? Because his answer is so cold, it's insane. So anyway, Bush Sr. goes like this.
Cold-blooded.
While the lady's asking a question, he goes like this.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait a minute, you don't have time for a voter to kind of tell him your situation, your position? He says, you don't think I feel what the national debt is? You don't think I feel the problem? And then you have Ford versus Carter is when Ford says, Soviet Union will never have domination over Eastern Europe. And the moderator's like, President Ford, you sure you're saying that the Soviet Union doesn't have any control over Eastern Europe? What are you talking about, right? Okay, that's game over. Al Gore against Bush. Does anybody remember Al Gore against Bush? When Al Gore comes and stands over Bush and he's kind of trying to bully him and Bush does this one look.
He looks at his feet.
And he goes back to the debate,
Yeah.
right? And then what's the Clinton-Trump one? What was the highlight of the Clinton-Trump? This is an easy one. What was it?
You'd be in jail.
Because you'd be in
greatest.
jail.
That's the best one.
And that was it. That
Mic
night,
drop.
Mic drop.
it's over.
Yeah.
By the way, tonight, that moment can't happen.
Exactly.
Because tonight, he can't do because you'd be in jail. None of that stuff works because he's muted. Anyways, we can get a couple of these other guys. My only feedback would be if Trump stays on 4 years to 4 years, he's going to do his counterpunch stuff and entertains and is kind of in the playful mode that he's in right now. I think it's going to be slam dunk tonight if he doesn't let Joe Biden get under his skin tonight.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.